Welcome to episode 374, where I'm speaking with Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath of Kerala Ayurveda about long COVID and how the symptoms can vary from respiratory to neurological, and they can involve the circulatory and cardiovascular systems as well. Dr. Jay explains Ayurveda's view and the holistic treatment plan that's necessary for long COVID. So please stay tuned. Hi there, I'm your host Colette, and on this podcast I will be sharing the teachings of Ayurveda, yoga, and holistic health practices. Now, if you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend checking out the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. Thanks for listening, and now here's a new episode. This episode is sponsored by Kerala Ayurveda. I hope you enjoy today's episode with Dr. Jayarajan Kodikannath, a renowned Ayurvedic healer with decades of experience and a mission to spread healing wisdom across the US. Through Kerala Ayurveda Academy, he's taught thousands of students and transformed countless lives. Now you can advance your Ayurvedic career with Kerala Ayurveda Academy's expert-led certification programs. Start 2025 by investing in your future. Enroll today and save $100 with the code ELEMENTS100. That's ELEMENTS100. Visit keralaayurveda.us/courses to learn more. And you can find all those details in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to the Elements of Ayurveda podcast. I'm very happy to welcome back a regular guest, Vaidya Jayarajan Kodikannath, or Dr. J, as we all know him. And Dr. J is a visionary, a classically trained Ayurveda doctor, and an accomplished teacher representing a lineage of Ayurveda practitioners from Kerala, India. And of course, he is the CEO and Academy Director of Kerala Ayurveda USA. Dr. J, it's a pleasure always to have you on the podcast, and I really appreciate you making the time.
Wonderful to be here, Colette, and I really appreciate your remarkable work and propagating the message of Ayurveda, sharing the science of Ayurveda with the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words. Today, we're going to talk about long COVID. So we all know about COVID. We've all lived through it, but there's many people still suffering with long COVID. So I'd like to start, Dr. J, with what is long COVID?
Yeah. You know, the world taught us a big lesson, right? Since 2019 onwards, years of what it can, happen. One particular condition is shaking the whole world, and it has been pretty challenging. Now, today we are talking about long COVID. Long COVID is the lingering symptoms and suffering as a subsequent, or continuation of the COVID infection happened before. Usually when you get a common cold, coryza or influenza, you get congestion, throat pain, fever, running nose, then it subsides. 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, it goes, done. But conditions like COVID, once it happens, in many people there will be very mild symptom and it goes away. But in few, where there can be symptoms lingering, and it need not be even the usual respiratory related symptoms, there can be so many other symptoms. I've been seeing a lot of cases of that sort, really suffering, not with some mild expressions or problems, but some major issues. So all those lingering issues continuing even beyond the active symptoms of the COVID can be, we can put it under this heading, the long COVID. Yeah.
Okay. And so are you seeing doshic specific symptoms, obviously, but what shrotas are being affected with long COVID? What dhatus are being affected? Obviously, the respiratory system.
Good question. It varies a lot. I have, the loss of taste and smell onwards, even to POTS. Are you familiar with that terminology, POTS?
No.
Posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where you cannot just stand up. If you stand up from sitting position, you get palpitation and dizziness, right?
Wow.
That kind of, I had many cases, age between 30 and 55.
And is it as strong as like a vertigo reaction?
Yeah, it is severe palpitation with dizziness by just standing up.
Mm.
So the symptoms or the sufferings of the long COVID can be anywhere from some loss of sense of taste or some respiratory conditions to neurological, circulatory, cardiovascular, right? And all those things. And if you ask me about the doshic, generally, majority of the cases are vata pitta expressions, kind of progressive degenerative expressions you will be able to see in them. Since they come with this kind of severe expressions, it's very challenging.
Mm.
Now, immune system is involved, right? Immune system in Ayurveda stands for the ojo balam, the strength of the ojas, right? Another Ayurvedic terminology for immunity is vyathik shamatva balam, the ability to forgive the diseases. Okay. So, and that is getting compromised. That means your ability to resist any other imbalances is getting compromised. That means you are vulnerable to, you are prone to various conditions. It need not be just respiratory. It can be of any area. Neurological, cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, mind. Yeah.
COVID is a viral infection.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. It is a viral infection. Yeah.
And so the cases you're seeing, are you seeing people with pre-existing conditions that they were in a weakened state? Is there any thread of similarity?
The long COVID is not about pre-existing diseases. Long COVID is about you got a COVID infection and certain problems are lingering for a longer period. Okay. But, if there is a pre-existing condition, there is an immune compromised situation, of course, the problems are going to be more worse and it leads to many other complications. And the most, challenging situations are digestive, easier to manage. Even respiratory is easier to support and guide them. But when it comes to neuroimmunological issues, where immune system is out of balance and your neurological system is out of balance, those type of situations, it can linger for a long period because it's a chicken and egg situation. Without correcting the neurological issue, you cannot come out of the symptom, even the cardiovascular. Without correcting that, you cannot come out of the symptoms. Since your immune system is already compromised, your recovery is not possible without correcting the immune system. It's a bit more complex. But Ayurveda can definitely provide a lot of support.
Okay. Yeah, well, I definitely want to get into that. And what are some samples of neurological symptoms?
There are many. As I mentioned to you about POTS, it has a cardiovascular and a neurological influence on that, affecting your memory and affecting your ability to coordinate your sensory as well as your coordination, and some cases like numbness, or, tremors type of expressions, dizziness.
Okay. And do you find that, of course, when patients are ill, and especially in the case of long COVID, which the symptoms can be quite detrimental, do you find that there's an impact mentally, emotionally as well?
Of course,
Yeah.
every disorder, we know this, right?
Yeah.
Any physical disorder influences the mind. Mental disorders influences the body the same way. See,
hmm
a 35-year-old is not able to stand up from sitting position every time, causing dizziness. You tell me whether there will be an impact on the mind and emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because it's affecting their day-to-day life. It's really impacting their work and so on. Absolutely. And so what is Ayurveda's view on long COVID?
This is what is happening. What happens is your ojas system is shaken up. Okay. And as you know, ojas is the subtle essence of healthy kapha. That means when your ojas is optimal, you have stability, you have strength, you have, vitality, where you are able to resist and hold any imbalances, physical or mental. So that means it's a core balancing, core stabilizing mechanism. When that is getting disrupted, and especially as you know, since it is a kapha's essence, any vata pitta aggravation really give a big hit on the ojas in general. Okay, and most of these expressions are vata pitta. So that means then you are more vulnerable to everything. Even small things are big for you. Small sound is intolerant. You are intolerant to sound. Your threshold to face life goes down. That makes it very, uh, challenging. And so the approach should be one, of course, guide them on the diet, lifestyle, certain simple practices, what they can do. Then any Ayurvedic herbal supplements, external applications, Ayurvedic detoxification, rejuvenation. We always say that whenever it comes to ojas compromised situation, right? There can be ojas compromise in 2, 3 different ways. One is comparatively it is getting weakened and depleted, the ojakshayam part of it. Second is the altered state of ojas, the ojo visramsam or displaced ojas, where in place of protecting your own system, your ojas system, your immune system is attacking yourself or even identifying normal thing as abnormal. All the allergies, autoimmune conditions come under that, the ojo visramsa. And then the sudden loss of ojas. So that is why these type of issues like long COVID is lingering for a longer period, because your ability to recover has been compromised. Your ojas system has been compromised. So that means, as a principle, if you want to come out of these issues, strengthening and stabilizing your immune system, strengthening and stabilizing your ojas system is the key.
I'm going to jump in here for a moment because we're talking about boosting ojas. And one of the best ways to boost ojas is with a cleansing process. And my next discounted group Digestive Reset Cleanse starts January 31st. With this cleanse, you're boosting ojas with the healing sattvic foods, with the self-care practices, the mindfulness practices, the yoga, the pranayama, and so on. This cleanse comes with a 90-minute online consultation with me so that we can chat. I can check on your current health status and tailor the cleanse to you. And then we go through it as a group where I have a private community, which is great for support and accountability. So if you're interested in this group discounted cleanse starting January 31st, check out the link in the show notes or visit my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com. For the group discounted cleanse, go to the events page. If that date doesn't work for you, you can choose a private cleanse. It's the same structure. You just get to choose your own dates and you have me one-to-one for support. You'll find details on the private cleanse on the programs page. So if you're looking to start 2025 taking care of your health and well-being, come join us on this group discounted Digestive Reset Cleanse starting January 31st. And I hope to connect with you soon. Okay, let's get back to my conversation with Dr. J. And is there a systemic inflammation throughout the body as well with
Yes,
long-COVID?
what is inflammation? Inflammation is the, from an Ayurvedic standpoint, we call it as jara or inflammation. It is the response to crisis. Any disease, Ayurveda says there is no disease without inflammation. Inflammation or fever is considered as the king of all diseases, governing every disorder. So definitely there will be inflammatory changes in the system.
Okay. And you're saying that, you mentioned sensitivity to sound. There seems to be very sensory sensitivity as well.
I have seen a lot of sensory sensitivity.
And that's due to Vata being involved.
Exactly. Vata is governing all senses, right? And fatigue, extreme fatigue is another one. There are cases where if they go and sit and eat breakfast, then they need to lie down for 2 hours because even that is feeling strenuous, going and sitting and having breakfast. Extreme fatigue is another. And that is also expression of low ojas.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you have, as you said, you have yogis coming in with long COVID, what's your process then? Obviously, it's person specific.
So, Colette, this is the principle from an Ayurvedic standpoint. Whenever there is the ojas compromised cases, immune compromised or, altered cases, immune system can be influenced by everything. What you eat, what you think, what you do, your surroundings, weather, everything can influence you. Because of that reason, the more tools we use, the better for the recovery and health of the individual. So that is why we won't just stand with or limit with a particular herb or a particular natural ingredient. We go and use all possible tools. Usually, what I use as tools, and of course, this need to be customized based on who is the yogi, what is the constitution, what is the status of Agni, whether there is ama or not, which are the system affected, which are the dosha, this, right? So that's very, very clear, personalized assessment is important. But at the same time, as a principle, what I usually do is I classify the offering in 2 buckets. One, how the individual can help himself or herself, right? Second is what I can do for them. What I can do is to guide them through, using the Ayurvedic principles. Then, of course, suggest the herbs and formulations and whatever necessary. But I spend a lot of time in my consultation in guiding the individual how they can help themselves. And that is so important because Ayurveda says the individual is the healer, right? Every individual has their own healing ability. The whole idea of Ayurveda, how to promote, how to support their own healing mechanism. So what I do is I go systematically. I tell them they can help themselves only in 2 ways. There are only 2 options for them to help themselves to recover from the problem and stay healthy. Managing the inputs and managing the lifestyle. In that the inputs are food, water, breath, and perceptions. Perception is about how the mind takes and reacts to what you see, what you watch, what you think. It's more mind care. So that is one area, the inputs. And then I go into each one of the details. Then on the other side, lifestyle management. Lifestyle includes sleep, their work, activities, habits, practices, rituals. And I take them through each one of these. Which one is out of all these things, which one is the most important? Especially in long COVID recovery. Sleep. Sleep. You're a good student of Ayurveda. Sleep is the most important because sleep is the process of recovery. right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ayurveda says in the Vedic text, Nidrayatam Sukham Dukkam Tushti Pushti Balodayam. That means sleep is, optimal sleep will bring you one, complete recovery and health. It nourishes you. It enhances your strength, physical, mental, immune strength. You know that sleep is so important for enhancing ojas. And based on the dosha, then the dietary guidance. Usually in dietary guidance, I take them through when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat, and the process. Since the system is totally disturbed, the rhythm of eating is very important. Maybe
Yeah.
more important than what and how much.
Yeah, and I was about to mention that with sleep, because the rhythm of sleeping too, when you sleep, is important, right? So I think, going into that a little bit, the timing of things is
It's
important.
all about rhythms, Colette.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, we are an integral part of this natural system, right? There's no difference between us and the nature. So Ayurveda says our body is expecting us to be cyclical and symmetrical in sync with the nature. That's the principle of living. Being cyclical and symmetrical in sync with the nature. That means sleeping, eating, everything what we do on a regular basis. Now, regarding sleep, it will be interesting for your audience to understand that one, sleep is very important, which I mentioned to you already. Then the question is when to sleep. I'm here in Silicon Valley, and many a time I get this comment that even though I'm sleeping at 2 a.m., I wake up only at 11 a.m., 9 hours of sleep. Isn't that enough? So I tell them, it is not just about the quantity of sleep. The quality matters. What is about the quality? Ayurveda says there are two types of energies governing this nature and our health. The heating, stimulating sun energy during the daytime, and the cooling, nurturing, stabilizing, nourishing moon energy during the nighttime. The benefit of sleep you can get by sleeping during moon hours. You cannot get it by extending your sleep to the sun hours. Very interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because especially, you may lie on your couch and you may snore during daytime. You may think that sleep is sleep. No. Ayurveda says your body may get rest by lying down and sleeping during daytime. But there are four subtle systems that cannot recover and recoup if you sleep during the daytime. Those subtle systems are mind, immune system, hormonal system, and nervous system. These four systems cannot, because they are in the subtle space.
Oh,
With the
interesting.
stimulating energy, they cannot rest and recoup. So that is why, especially today's discussion about long COVID, if you look at it, immune system, mind, nervous system. So it's very important to sleep. So it's not only about the quantity of sleep, the quality matters. Sleep early and wake up early. When I say this, many a time I get a question, what is the meaning of moon hours? When is this moon hours? What time are you saying to sleep? I say the moon hour starts 48 minutes after the sunset, and the moon hour ends 48 minutes before the sunrise. That is why in Ayurveda there is a concept of Brahma Muhurta. That means it is 48 minutes before the 48 minutes to sunrise, the most tranquil time for self-learning, meditation, etc.
Exactly. When everything is still in nature.
Everything is still and tranquil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best time.
Now, on that, I interrupted you when you were talking about food, because we were talking about the timing of food, and then I mentioned sleep. So yeah, if you could go back to the timing of food where I interrupted you, that would be great.
So the same way, the cyclical rhythm of sleep, another is the cyclical rhythm of eating. Question is, out of when to eat, what to eat, and how much to eat, what is the most important? Ayurveda says when is the most important. You go and read any ancient text. Kale hidam midam kale yatha kalam, in right time. That's the first. Then hidam, suitable. Midam, moderate. That is the order of guidance about food intake. Eat in the right time, the right item, in moderation, the right quantity. So because, it's simple and logical. It's not a, rocket science, right? Our body has an intelligence. By habituating your body in a cyclical and symmetrical way, your whole body intelligence will get aligned to that cyclical, symmetrical rhythm, right? Say that you are eating every day breakfast, say 7:30 every day. You do that for one lunar cycle, 28 days. There is a need for habituation. One lunar cycle, if you do something in a particular day every day, your body will ask for it on the 29th day, right?
Yes.
So it's about helping the body to have, that rhythm. So in that case, what will happen is, it is not that you are taking care of your body will start taking care of you, because you already created a rhythm and you are following the rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even modern science these days. One of my students with some, laughing smiley sent me a message that, there's a new idea of chrononutrition. How important to eat in the right time, as if it's a new idea.
Yeah.
You are sending me a message saying that, Dr. J, you have been always telling this for last many years to us. Now this is a new idea coming up, chrononutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like circadian medicine now, Ayurveda practiced this for thousands of years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Circadian rhythm, epigenetics, these are all an integral part of, Ayurvedic.
Yeah, which is why, like with epigenetics, you may have a gene for something, but you can switch it on and off via your diet and lifestyle, which is why those simple things day in, day out are so important.
It's a very empowering, proposition, right?
Absolutely.
If you know that you can down-regulate your disease tendencies and you can up-regulate your, healing ability by rearranging your own diet, lifestyle, and how you live, it's a very empowering concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ayurveda is an empowering science.
Yeah. And I think people disregard it sometimes because, like you said, these things are simple, they're logical, but they're of paramount importance to our overall health.
Very intuitive. It's a common sense science, right?
Yeah.
It's a very common sense science and simple science. The problem of this world is we are used to extreme things. And, if you feel this is so difficult to do, you think that is more effective.
Yeah.
If you're paying so much money for something, you think that, it's more valuable.
Exactly.
Where the simple practices, and many a time I laugh and say, hey, this is free. If you need to do 5 minutes of alternate nostril breath, no need of any equipment, no need of even 1 cent to spend, freely available, but you need to just do it. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. It's the discipline. And like you said, you do this, you have discipline for 28 days and then it becomes a habit and then you crave it because you know how good you feel within.
Yep.
And talking about alternate nostril breathing or Nadi Shodhana, one of the other inputs is the breath. And of course, with COVID being a respiratory disease, at least starting in the respiratory system, the breath becomes very important during that.
Sure. If there is an active respiratory symptom, we may not suggest any pranayama, any breathing practices. Because, if there's a congestion, no point in doing that. Or if they're getting continuous cough, if they breathe, they take a deep breath until we first help them to stabilize. Then for further recovery, fine-tuning, balance, stability, alternative nostril breath is a very, very important tool. And the conditions like the POTS and other things which I mentioned, the total subtle imbalances, the alternate nostril breath, especially slow and steady alternate nostril breath, is very, very helpful in stabilizing the whole system because it regulates between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, the activating and the grounding side, right? So that one breath work suitable for all, and because everybody need balance, right?
Absolutely.
Since balance is health, this is one breath good for everyone, regardless of who you are.
Yeah.
So.
And very balancing for the Vata dosha too. which is important in this case.
Excellent for Vata.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vata, Pitta, excellent.
Okay. And then I think it's interesting to talk a little bit more about the final input, which is perceptions.
Yes, of course. That is the most important one, the master system, right? Because for you to do something, not to do something, take something, not to take something, who is going to govern that? Your mind is going to govern that, right? Mind is going to govern that. So now, this perception in the long COVID, if you really look at it, it's a roller coaster. Somebody who has been running around and, going and playing volleyball on weekends, and a software engineer in Silicon Valley having a family, suddenly not able to get up and stand up, it's a big hit. They can get into severe anxiety issues or depression.
Yeah.
And fear set in, and if you look at it, there's no conclusive management. If you get into the normal system, there's no conclusive management of just, let us see, work, etc. So I had, cases I've seen that they are really scared about their life, their sustenance, etc. So it has a huge impact on the mind. Okay. So some can get into anxiety and, panic. Some can get into a depressive state, and it is not helping, right?
Yeah.
All the negative emotions aggravates Vata. Their symptoms will get aggravated. The increased symptom will cause further mental and psychological issue. It's a mutually feeding issue, because as you know, in Ayurveda, emotions like fear, sadness, uncertainty, and insecurity, these are the master emotions people with this long COVID, because they are concerned, they are scared, they are sad that they got into this, their life became uncertain, they feel really insecure. The master emotions that provokes Vata. Okay. Then if there is a little bit of a frustration and anger connected to it, Pitta.
Yeah.
Now you are already adding fuel to the fire. By having those emotions, you are already adding fuel to the fire, because these are the two primary doshas usually I've seen in the long COVID situations. So then they will start mutually. Their symptoms will increase, their palpitation will increase with the anxiousness, etc. That will increase their anxiousness. So that is why in our guidance to them, since Ayurveda is not a licensed healthcare practice in the US, we more worked as a guide, a coach, and educate and self-empowering guidance, etc. So we always consider both these aspects at the same time. The mind care is life care. So then we connect with them on a periodical basis and keep hand holding and making them to gradually come out of it. Yeah.
You could certainly
process.
I can imagine, because you're building up that confidence in them, but you could see almost how it could lead to something like PTSD from this worry. People sneeze around them, cough around them. There's this worry about getting
one
something.
of the post-COVID or long COVID outcome is PTSD.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because it's a trauma. You are,
Yeah.
you don't know you are going to recover, and all this news, millions died due to COVID. And when you get that, you get into that, the trauma mode.
Yeah.
Then you get into the severe symptoms for many days, many weeks sometimes. Then you develop the palpitation. It's a trauma.
And so what are you doing in that case to kind of stabilize the system, to manage the nervous system reaction? The nervous system is almost like in a fight or flight response, right?
Definitely. So again, I'm repeating that the more tools we use, the better we are. So our guidance will include the dietary guidance, when to eat, what to eat, how much to eat. And then the water intake, hydration level. And they're also avoiding cold water and those type of principles. Then the breath, simple breath practices. Then about reframing the mind. I always tell them, I need you. I know it is tough, but it's a reality. The first step is accepting the reality. This is my reality today. No point in denying this. I cannot run away from this. I need to face it, hit it head on, and work with it and come out of it. So I tell them, I want you to be with me. This should be the approach. I'm going to face this. I'm going to do the best what I can, and I'm going to come out of it. That should be the it's important. So I guide them to have that approach of ability to face it boldly. And then I also give the tools to manage mind. By the way, sleep is another aspect very important for mind management. Then the breathings, journaling, a little bit of a meditation, self-affirmation, very important, especially whenever there are subtle disorders or the disorders of the subtle systems, like the mind, immune system, nervous system, hormonal system. Self-affirmation, intention, and reiteration every day. That is very important.
For somebody who has a long-suffering disease, you can see how they might lose faith in their immune system, in their own recovery, because it's taken so long and it's becoming so debilitating. So these self-affirmations are very important.
Yes, mind has a direct impact on the immune system. Direct impact on the immune system. That is why all immune-related conditions, including autoimmunity, any condition, will definitely flare up when they are mentally and emotionally stressed and affected due to some reason. Always. Because the immune system is very closely connected to the mind. Even your tendency of getting disease will increase with mental and emotional stress. Even infections. Have you ever seen people saying that whenever I'm under stress, I get my canker sore, my herpes? Have you heard that?
Yes.
Do you think the virus is waiting in the living room looking at the individual when this individual is going to get stressed? No. That virus has been always inside the individual, right? Yeah. Always there in the individual. And when the individual's immune resistance, vitality is stronger than the virus is dormant, hibernating, just staying there. Whenever the individual's ojas, the vitality goes below the vitality of the virus will wake up and start working on it. So the mind and immune system, from an Ayurvedic standpoint, is very closely connected. Any emotions that aggravates Vata Pitta, push the ojas down, then you are vulnerable to various disorders, And there are all these emotions, what I mentioned. Anything aggravates Vata and Pitta, reduces the ojas. That is why there's a question about toxicity in Ayurveda. Concept of visham. Visham means poison, toxins, toxic material. The question the disciple asked one of the ancient sages, why the poisons are killing the individual instantaneously, right? The toxins can damage your lives instantaneously. Why? Then Acharya says, Ojo viparidam tat tikshnadvera nidam gunehi vata pittottaram nranam sadyo haradi jividam. The poisons are taking your life instantaneously because all the toxins are against the ojas. Okay? Ojo viparita means opposite to ojas. Vata pittottaram nranam. It has properties of heating, sharp, dry, lot of properties that aggravates Vata Pitta quickly. So, against ojas, Vata Pitta aggravation, that devastates, it creates a bigger problem. Strength and stability is the key.
Yeah, and stress management, which comes under that, right?
Definitely. And let me do a little bit of a reorientation on the concept of stress. That will be helpful for your audience. Generally, we say I'm stressful if something is bothering our mind. But from an Ayurvedic standpoint, that is only a small part of the stress. You know what is the real meaning of stress? Whenever you make any of your system stretch beyond its normal threshold is called stress.
Right.
If you do more exercise than what you are supposed to, that's a stress. right? When you eat more than what you can digest, it's a stress. Whenever you need to think about more than what your mind can handle, it is a mental stress. Whenever you spend more than what you can afford is called financial stress. So any stretch beyond normal threshold is a stress. And you know what Ayurveda says is the highest possible human stress? Late nights. Late nights are considered as the highest stress possible. You know why, Colette? Because
Lack of
from the
sleep.
time you wake up in the morning till you sleep, it's only wear and tear. Physical, mental, emotional, sensory, wear and
Exactly.
tear. The only time our mind-body system heal, replenish, recoup, and rejuvenate is during the deepest state of sleep. Delay in sleeping means you are making your active system to continue for longer periods. That means you are pushing your mind-body system to work beyond its natural threshold meant for humans. So sleeping late is considered as the highest stress a human system can have.
Oh,
Interesting, right?
very interesting. I'm so glad that you gave that Ayurvedic explanation about stress, because we do think of stress as these crazy events going on in the world, but I think exercise is a big one. And I know it was a problem of mine in the past, is over exercising. And again, it goes back to that concept we have in the West that you talked about earlier, is the more the better. The harder it is, the better. If I need to suffer in order for it to be beneficial.
These days, I'm reluctant to say something is good. When I teach people talk, I'm reluctant to say something is good because I want that immediately all the time.
Right. Double, triple it, everything. Yeah. And it truly is in Ayurveda, everything is the middle path.
It's always about medium path, sarva
Right.
karmeshu madhyamam. It's a principle, a kind of umbrella principle for life is sarva karmeshu madhyamam. Please follow a medium path in anything you do in your life to ensure health, harmony, happiness, peace, and longevity.
It's a simple
And
concept.
and for the modern world, for many people, moderation is boring.
Yes.
Always
Yeah.
mind ask for more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a challenge we need to reframe, help the people to reframe. It's not about when you do more, you get more. When you
Exactly.
do optimal, you will get the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even something healthy, if you do more of it, it can be damaging.
Of course,
You know?
there's a saying that Amrita is the elixir or the ambrosia that heals everything. There's a saying that even Amrita taken more will act as a poison.
Yeah.
So even good things done beyond is a problem.
Yeah. Well, Dr. J, as we finish up here, is there anything else that you wanted to cover with long COVID that we haven't covered today?
So yes, just as a concluding remark that one, it's a challenge for people going through that, and it's not. Sometime it is 2 months, 3 months, sometime 4 months, 6 months, sometime 1 year and beyond. One is no point in panicking. Accept it and work with it. Don't think that one herb will solve the issue or one approach. Try to use as many tools as possible. The key is to strengthen and stabilize your own inner strength. So everything what you eat, what you do, what you drink, and how you think, it really matters. So consider that as an important message that don't wait for one pill to solve the issue. Use all the tools possible. Right? Yeah.
Right.
And then, our body has a natural ability to heal and recover. Only, how we can support the best way is the question. Healer is within, right?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And like you said, it's not just one herb, it's not just one thing. It has to be the holistic approach to make sure that you're giving your body the best environment to heal.
Yeah. There are a lot of herbs that can be used as, supplements and a lot of external applications. There are a lot of, according to how the expressions are, there are many external applications, nervine oils, and that can bring the mind and nervous system to calm down, nourish, strengthen. So that need to be decided after an individualized, personalized, an assessment, Ayurvedic assessment. And, it is not that, any long COVID, take this herb or use this oil. It need to be personalized.
Exactly.
Something good for Vata associated with Pitta is different from something good for Pitta associated with Vata.
Yeah.
Even the same dosha, their strength, because they hold opposite qualities, right?
Yeah.
So, as simple as that.
Okay, well, that's the beautiful thing about Ayurveda, as we know it is tailored to each person and holistic, which is important in this case. Dr. J, thank you so much. Before we finish up, I'd love for you to tell us what's going on at Kerala Ayurveda since we last spoke and the programs you have. I know there's lots of exciting things happening.
Kerala Ayurveda is going on very well. I really enjoy, I love teaching. And when I see the satisfied and fulfilled faces, and I'm blessed to have so many, we have a lot of passionate students in our program. We are doing very well, all our programs. As you know, we have multiple certification programs, starting from the Holistic Ayurvedic Coach, which is a 300-hour, 6-month program, and to Ayurvedic Health Counselor, 600 hours, 1-year program, to Ayurvedic Practitioner program, that is, 1.5 years program, to the advanced clinical practitioner, right? The clinical specialist program, ACS, the 3rd level program, that is a 3-year program after the AP, So it's going very well. And we do also conduct a lot of workshops, master workshops like pulse diagnosis, formulation making, panchakarma programs, so all going good.
That's great to hear.
And the commitment, Kerala Ayurveda always, we have few very important commitment to all our student group. One, we tell that welcome to Kerala Ayurveda family. Any student joining Kerala Ayurveda become a Kerala Ayurveda family member. We know that it's a lifelong journey. That's why we give access to the learning content, even e-learning system, even after they graduate from the program.
It's amazing.
And we say, you have access to this as long as the technology can handle.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
We encourage them to join the weekly classes, even after finishing graduation, all the certification levels, without any additional fee. Because we know that it's a long journey, lifelong journey. Then we bring the root knowledge of Ayurveda without any dilution, any modification, directly from the Vedic text to our students. And all our faculty are not only Ayurvedic clinicians, but they have, they will talk from their heart. Very passionate. So, and I welcome. This is the time Ayurveda is really getting recognized across the globe. Ayurvedic terminology became a part of the ICD Code 11 globally by, the World Health Organization. So, and the next 1 or 2 decades is the time of natural health, well-being, wellness. So this is the right time to get more educated for self-help, helping the community, family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to Kerala Ayurveda Academy. And all information available on our website. We update it very frequently. It is keralaayurveda.us. Any questions about the program? Admissions at keralaayurveda.us. Yeah.
I will put that in the show notes, but it's so wonderful to see people go through their own healing journey and then they go on to study Ayurveda, which is so wonderful. It just becomes part of their life. They become passionate about it. And I can't tell you how many people have come to me and then have gone on to study Ayurveda.
I have so many in that category, Colette.
Right. Isn't it
they
wonderful?
They came for their own health, and the way it worked for them, the way that changed their life, they become, there's so many, of my people coming initially for their own healing become a part of the educational program, and they continue, climb the ladder.
It's great. And it just speaks volumes to how Ayurveda really resonates with people. And some people go on through the different levels. And for some people, I want to learn it for my family, for myself and my family. And that's beautiful.
Yeah. The first level program is it covers all the aspect of preventative, Ayurvedic principles, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of other licensed professionals in our program. We have many MD doctors doing our programs, and
fantastic
naturopathic doctors, acupuncturists, massage therapists, yoga practitioners. So Ayurveda is the mother of the whole healing and well-being, right? It can fit 100%. In everywhere without any contradiction.
It can help us on so many levels, not only with our health and well-being, but on our connection to nature, which is where we really want to go back to now, and then be more ecologically conscious and so on. It can really help us with that because it really connects us and gives us so much awareness about our connection to nature.
It's a consciousness-based, practice, right?
Yeah.
There is no difference between us and the nature. It is one and the same. If you want to protect yourself, protect the nature.
Yeah.
If you want to take care of yourself, take care of the nature. As simple as that.
Exactly.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
And the fundamental principles also, resonates with the most modern, even quantum physics, right? The implicate order in quantum physics, that means there is a cosmic order that makes everything flow. It is nothing but our Purusha in Ayurveda, right? There is a cosmic order.
Yes.
That makes even the microscopic level and microscopic level flow in a particular order, right? So, it's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean, after all your years, with Ayurveda, that you still find it fascinating and still so passionate about it. That's what it is. It's a lifetime journey with it.
Yep. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy my practice as well as teachings.
Yeah, well, it's very evident. It comes through in your teachings. And I thank you again for making the time today. I know you're extremely busy, so I appreciate you taking the time and talking to us about long COVID. And I'll put all the links to Kerala Ayurveda in the show notes, so please check that out. Dr. J, thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's keep connecting. Let us keep sharing this knowledge. And I appreciate, Colette, all your, many years now. We have been connecting, and I wish you well, and let your podcast be a tool for the global audience to empower themselves and, help for self-help and making their life better. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Day. Much appreciated. Take good care of yourself. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Dr. J. And if you think that this episode will be helpful to family or friends, please share it with them so we can spread this wisdom of Ayurveda. Check out the show notes for the link to Kerala Ayurveda. And also in the show notes, I have the link to my upcoming group discounted Digestive Reset Cleanse starting January 31st. And also my other online services available as well. Now, if you haven't already subscribed or followed the podcast, please do so. And the new episodes will automatically download for you every week. And if you would like to leave a rating and review, I would really appreciate that. Please come join me on social media. You can find me on Facebook under Elements Healing and Wellbeing. And my new Instagram page is Elements of Ayurveda Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take good care of yourself, be well, and bye for now. Slán go fóill.